The Innovation Growth Lab is a global partnership bringing together governments, foundations and researchers to make innovation, entrepreneurship and growth policy more experimental and evidence-based. The IGL Global Conference is a 3-day event that brings together policymakers, researchers and practitioners from around the world to learn about the latest policy ideas and how we can experiment with them to find out whether they work. At the conference, we are bringing together nearly 200 participants from over 25 countries to discuss the latest policy ideas and how we can experiment with them. We want the conference to be the place to inspire the innovation policies of the future. At the IGL conference this week, we've been tackling 3 key questions that we face. 1, what are some of the new ideas in innovation policies that we should know more about and explore? 2, how to tackle the productivity challenge that many economies currently face? And 3, how policy experimentation can help us to develop much more effective policies.
A big topic for this year's conference is what can be done about what appears to be a slowing down of innovation and research productivity. It maybe takes 20 times as much research input as in the middle of the 20th century to achieve a new breakthrough, a new idea. Of what can be done to radicalize innovation, to accelerate it, to reverse this slowdown of productivity.
The tools that we have to do innovation are just proliferating. And that is exciting because it gives them new ways of doing stuff, but it's also challenging for policymakers because how do you measure some things that haven't been used before?
Basically, the big question is when new technology happens, when new business models emerge in society, how do we respond as policymakers faster in a more agile, adaptive way?
How do we innovate for innovation is, I think, a place where there's just a lot of untapped potential.
Experimentation is the key to solving the productivity problem, but I think the most important thing is to enable us to look at all these different ways of how we can use technology, simple technology, to utilize and diffuse it across the different parts of the economy. With innovation policy, we need to think big, take risk, apply experiments across various parts of the economy, and be creative.
In this area, it's particularly important to understand what works on the consulting and mentoring of firm owners or managers, because we found through experiments that traditional ways of learning skills are not working so well as we thought. Experimentation allows us to compare different mechanisms or different ways to achieve impact and then see which one is more effective.
It's a very common sense approach to doing things, but it's still not the norm in governments and in policy. We think it should be the norm, and that if it is made much more mainstream, this will deliver better results, more value for money, and hopefully happier citizens.
IGL 2019 has been fascinating because of such a diversity of participants. Researchers, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and people running programs coming together in a very curated space means the conversations are flowing and everybody is picking up and learning off of each other.
It's been a great conference, really enjoyed the first couple of days, tremendously thought-provoking, fascinating to see that people from all around the world are grappling with, they're different in detail, but very similar issues at a high level. So it's great to get that international perspective.
Well, this is a unique event because it's the premier event that's focused on innovation policy and you could say innovations in innovation policy. It's also a hugely global event. I think we have people from 25 countries here, and the level in terms of skills, intellect and also policy making is very, very high.
Join us at the IGL 2020 conference in London to continue the discussion on new policy ideas and how we can put them into practice.